Okay, so here we are with Renato Barajas. Hi.
Hi,
Hi. Thank you so much for
thank you.
agreeing to do this conversation with me. And so I would first like to just ask you about your first experiences in the new Kadampa tradition. Like, when did that happen? How did that happen? What brought you in? What attracted you to this organization or to Buddhism also? I don't know if you were interested in Buddhism before the NKT, or like what happened? What is the beginning of your story?
Okay, yes. Well, uh, when I was about 32 years old, I went to my first NKT class in a branch here in the city where I live in Toluca, and uh, I have been interested in Buddhism since long, long ago, much before NKT. I started to watch videos on YouTube, and my mother, she has always been interested in Buddhism too. And we used to go to a vegetarian restaurant here in Toluca, and we saw the flyers over there. She took a flyer and she started to go first, and
So
she
there were
told me,
NKT flyers in this
yes, and
in this
yes, and
vegetarian restaurant.
yes, NKT flyers. And we used to go to that restaurant. She took the flyer and she started to go to the class, and she told me, well, I've been going to a class with a monk. The class is very nice, and well, if you like, you can go. In that moment, I had another business. I set a small business for diabetics, for diabetic people, uh, near the branch. So, but well, I decided to close that business. That it was a small shop for diabetic people, and I sold diabetic products like chocolates and shoes and magazines
Yeah.
and that. And then when I closed the shop, the small store, I had a little more time, more free time to go, and I started to go to the class. I remember the first class, the first time I went, I left because of the prayers, because they did a lot of prayers, and
You mean
I
also
left.
the singing and
Yes,
yeah,
yes, you
that
know
kind of
the
thing. You
yes,
didn't
yes,
like
yes,
that? Was that
yes,
the reason?
yes. I felt like that wasn't what I expected, so I left that once that time. And I came back later, like 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago, and I really loved the class because the class was very inspiring and very nice. It's like it was the first time I had contacted with a monk, or what I thought it was a monk, and the first time that I went directly in a live class of Buddhism, because as I told you, I listened to many classes and videos on YouTube. For example, Pema Chodron's videos and
Yeah.
courses, free courses on YouTube. So I liked it, and I started to go more often. And later, like I don't know, like 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, one of the senior teachers of the center in Mexico City came to Toluca, and she gave a conference. Uh, I, I don't remember exactly the title, but I think it was about fear.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think it was about fear because you know that NKT sets very interesting and like very good marketing names for their conferences. No, it's not like know about Buddhism. It's more. It's rather like uh, stop anxiety, or um, learn how to meditate, or uh,
how to deal with difficult people,
yes, or what.
how to do this, how to deal with stress. So it's more like a mental health kind of thing.
Yes,
It's not about Buddhism. Their marketing material is not about Buddhism at all,
yes, or
right?
what's the sense of your life, or something like that,
Yeah,
no? And
exactly.
yes, and later when I got ordained, and but I started teaching much before I ordained, because they asked me to teach very soon,
So
because the monk,
how much time passed before they asked you to teach?
like 1 year.
Okay.
1 year, yes. And then I started to look for places. I started to teach. I remember the first class I gave. It was very close to the place where I lived in that moment. It was in a spa. A
Hmm.
spa of this spa was owned by a classmate of my master degree, my master. I studied a
Hmm.
master in business administration. So one of the guys, my classmates, had a spa with her wife nearby my house, and I asked them if I could teach a class over there, and I
Okay.
started to teach there.
So sorry to interrupt, but how did you feel about teaching at this point after 1 year of going to your center?
From the beginning, from the very beginning, and this feeling lasted for long. I feel I didn't was prepared.
I didn't.
I wasn't ready. I felt that
I I
I felt that
wasn't
really
ready.
I wasn't ready for teaching. Yes, because you know that some Buddhist topics are very complex and very difficult to explain. So you have to understand those topics and those themes very well first, because they are difficult to explain. So before you
Sure.
explain, you have to be like very confident that you can teach, that you understand the topics fully, that you have read enough to teach, that you have gone to courses, that you have clarified your doubts very well before you started to teach.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I felt I wasn't ready. So and they were very like insistent
Oh, okay.
in telling me that yes, you teach. Uh, I remember one of the arguments, and I remember that argument directly from Gela de Kyung in a conference, in a festival or something, saying, "Well, if you have a wallet and you have just little money, no, you don't have a lot of money, no, but you can share a little from what you have. So that's the point of teaching. You know, maybe you are not an expert, but you can teach what you know. So
So
that's
that would pass as qualified teachers and skillful teachers in the NKT. Just teach
yes,
whatever you get, whatever you understand from this teaching, and that's what you pass on to the people who have absolutely no idea what you are teaching about, because maybe this is the first time they ever met these ideas or concepts, right? Maybe it's the first time they ever meet the Dharma, right?
yes, of
So
course.
that's very interesting, that experience. Yeah.
Yes, and once you are out of the NKT and you started to go to other monasteries or other traditions, and you see how people um, uh, prepare for teaching, for dealing to an audience, for um, directing a group, uh, directing a meditation retreat, or it's like too many years. No, it's a lot of
Yeah.
time that they take to
Yeah.
feel ready and prepared and have the consent of the authorities to teach. It's not a quick process, not at all.
Yeah.
No. Well, the point is that I started to teach. I taught for many years. Yes. You know, in that time I was very willing and very enthusiastic to make Kadampa teachings and Kelson gets us Dharma to grow in the world. Now that stupidity uh, that you are, well, it doesn't matter your age, you are in that sense innocent, you know,
Yeah.
because you don't know, you really don't know. You think you found the place, and they um, always try to reinforce that belief, that you found the right place to learn, to teach the path of compassion and wisdom and a pure dharma and etc. etc. And all that later on you understand that it's only a marketing process and that they are wrong, And I think one of the main points that started to arouse doubts, at least in my case, is when you start to have contact and intercourse with the Sangha. You can see many people with psychological problems and psychological pathologies in the Sangha. And for example, I remember a teacher. Well, now she's considered a senior teacher. I think she's in Guadalajara. No, she said, "Well, well, that's my personal view only. That's but I think that girl is psycho. It's I think that girl really needs therapy. The same with the teacher in Querétaro.
How did the management deal with these people in the Sangha who had obvious mental issues?
What happens in Kadampa Buddhism? Well, I like to use Kadampa Buddhism because Kadampa is a great tradition of real teachers, of real geshes. I think that the NKT-iKBU is that as long as you are useful and loyal, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you are crazy, that's
and you don't cause problems. You don't cause problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're useful, loyal, volunteer. Don't cause any problems. It doesn't matter what your problem is.
Yes. And but I thought this girl was like an insane person. That's the word. And I started to listen to comments from other people inside the NKT talking about what she does, and then I started to deal with her. She was very rude, very rude. She was very like I forgot the word. Arrogant. Yes, like with a lot of pride, and yes, hypocrites. So that's what I think about her. Well, the point is that later I started to bear in mind the idea of becoming a monk. I talked to the general director of the center, and she told me, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, do it. You are already teaching, so it would be very nice to have a monk in your city. One of the things that I think I was very fortunate about is that I never left my home and my work. I never lived in the center. I went for a weekend, and sometimes when the resident teacher of the center left for a festival or for visiting her family, she's Irish, so she went she went abroad very often. And sometimes I was her substitute for the morning class in the center, in the commercial space they had in Mexico City. And so I left Luca on Friday, and I stayed on the weekend, and I came back on Sunday. But I never left her. It's like very different case.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, Renato, because I just want to say to our audience, the people who are listening, that a lot of not a lot, but it's quite common that people sort of move into the center. They leave
Yes.
their families behind, they quit their jobs, they drop out of school because they take this thing so seriously. Sometimes they have mental problems, like we said, and it's all cool and daisy as long as they toe the line and don't give problems, don't ask questions. But if there is a problem, then these people will be eliminated from the center pretty quickly. And they find themselves, they have no place to go to. They may have some mental issues, which until that time were completely ignored by the organization. They were told that Buddhism is going to help them, but now they find themselves in a, I have a good friend to whom this happened to, and unfortunately it had very, very tragic consequences. But it's quite common. I've heard of other people who have suffered like this, and some of them ended up pretty bad. So yeah, you were very fortunate, but I would call it actually very intelligent not to completely give up your entire life outside the NKT, right?
Yes, I think that the worst thing is not that they go to the center. The worst thing, the worst thing is not that they go to the center to leave. The worst thing here is that they lose their family and friends network. No, they lose a network that supports. No, and that's something that the NKT promotes. I remember many times the general director, just that is to say, because she's not really a director. No, she's like a coordinator. No, because that's another thing that we should talk about in another occasion. No, the terms and the titles inside the NKT are also fake as everything else. No, it's just like an empty word, like an empty name.
It's a role. It's a role they play, but there's nothing behind it.
Exactly, it's a role they play, like in a theater play. Yes, that's exactly what it is. No, but what was I saying?
So you got ordained, correct? You got ordained. What was your motivation actually to get ordained at this point? This was like a few years after you started going to the branch, correct?
Yes.
Why did you ordain? What was your intention or idea behind the ordination?
Well, in that moment, I think in that moment I thought that I wanted to stop suffering because I was suffering a lot, to be honest. Inside, now that I am without the supreme path of compassion and wisdom, I feel much happier, and more satisfied with my life, and the relation with my family is much better than it used to be in that moment. But I was suffering a lot, and I thought that it was a good idea to give my life to such a good cause. What else could be better than looking for the happiness of all sentient beings? What else?
Yeah.
And you know what? I still think that, because I still consider myself a Buddhist, and I still believe in Dharma. One of the things that I am very fortunate about is that I always separated what was NKT and what was real Dharma and Buddhism. And I still think that Buddhism has a lot of value. And I still think that Dharma is the most beautiful thing in the world. I still think that.
I completely agree with you. I still have the same feeling. I'm very happy that the NKT didn't take this away from me.
Yes.
And this is one of the motivation why I'm actually doing activism, because I consider the NKT twisted Buddhism, or white, what's the word? Watered down, dumbed down Buddhism, very So it's the NKT has an agenda, and that's what they do. And their agenda has not much to do with the Dharma. But yeah, I understand what you are saying completely.
Yes, in fact, NKT is destroying Dharma in action and in theory. They are destroying Dharma because they are affecting people. The thing that affects me or makes me sad the most about people that left NKT very wounded and very hurt is that they lose faith in Dharma teachings, and that's very sad because Dharma teaching has nothing to do with Buddhism. It's the same that, uh, for example, in Catholic Church, we have a lot of problems, and we have a lot of priests that are abusing children and abusing people. That's not Christianity, and that's not Jesus' message. No,
Exactly.
that's another thing, and it's very easy to get confused about it.
That's a
And
very good. That's a very good parallel to bring this parallel between Christianity and the Catholic Church, for example. What's
yes,
going on in the Catholic Church and what's been going on for hundreds of years has nothing to do with Jesus and what Jesus taught and what Jesus stood for.
Jesus' intent, Jesus' intention. That's nothing to do, And as I was saying to a friend, that he was very sad and wanted to even destroy his own life, That's what I was saying. Why should this group of stupid and mean people should have to end up with your life? So it's like giving them the rights, and that's something, because I'm sure that many people in Mexico, people inside the NKT will watch this video, and I thank you very much for that. And I want to tell them, I am not afraid of you. I am not afraid of you. You are the guys that are doing the things wrong, not me. Not me. I am not afraid of you and what you might think to do to me. I feel that it's my ethic purpose and my ethic obligation. It's like a commitment. I've done to myself to tell anyone who want to listen to me, my experience, so that they can evaluate and test what's this organization, what they are doing to people, what they are affecting Buddhism in general, what they are affecting the faith that people has in something very noble as Buddhist teachings. You are the guys. You are the guys that are doing wrong.
Absolutely, there is a lot of fear in people who leave the NKT to come out with their stories. I mean, a lot of people have told their stories, but there are so many more, like I don't know how many times more, who have never told their stories because they are scared, because they are afraid, and they will probably never tell their stories. They are, this is, fear in NKT. This is a topic that maybe we shouldn't even go into it, but I would just say this: many of the survivors who have come out with their stories, or they have engaged in activism, have been harassed as a consequence, so yeah, the fear is real and justified, even justified. But we are not doing this out of hate, right? I mean, we're not doing this out of hate or a sense of taking revenge on the organization. This is we're doing this out of love, actually, because this is what in the NKT they always say, we are the haters. We are not we're not the haters. We are the people who tell our stories because we love the people who are still in the NKT. We love the survivors or the people who have left the NKT with some horrible negative experience. And we also love the Buddha Dharma that we feel that needs to be in one way or another protected a little bit, from the constant dumbing down, and like what you're saying about how people start teaching without even understanding completely or interiorizing the most basic Buddhist concepts. So yeah, I'm sorry I interrupted you. So okay, so you were sorry?
That's a good point. No, I don't feel resentful, no, but I am concerned.
Exactly.
I am concerned
I
about
don't
what's
either.
happening.
I don't feel any resentment, any anger. I'm not angry. I'm not resentful. I don't want to take revenge. I just want to get the information out there, because this is an enormous organization. It's got huge resources, lots and lots and lots of people working for them, entirely free of charge. And they have a lot of resources. They are out there. I feel that we also have to be out there. Our information also has to be out there, so that anyone who's looking for the Dharma can make an informed decision whether they want to join this group or not.
Yes, and the people inside, just like it happened to me, I started to see the videos of Carl Maguire, and especially one was very, very important and shocking for me. And I remember I told the resident teacher of the center about this video, and she told me, well, she's crazy, and this is just a small group of people that went resentful out of NKT and they want to harm, but don't worry, they are just 5 or 6 people, nothing more. No, it's like minimizing. No, but I didn't finish to answer your question about what was my motivation to get inside NKT and get ordained. And in that moment, I thought I wanted to stop suffering, and I wanted to give a higher sense to my life. No, now I looking back to my old self, I think I was trying to run away. I think I was trying to run away a situation that was hurting me a lot. A situation in which I felt very lonely, very deprived of support, of advice.
You mean your life outside the NKT? You were trying to run away from your life outside the NKT, or your life in general?
Yes, more than my life, or rather than my life, my mind. I think I was trying to run my mind. No, I think I was trying to run away from my mind, from my thoughts. No, I thought in that moment that it was the proper way to face with everything that was happening to me in that moment.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I must say that it helped at the beginning. Yeah, yes, because I felt yes, useful, important, because you know that by giving you ordination, that now we know that it's not a real ordination, no, but by giving you this ordination, one of the worst things that derive from that situation is that they get you into a social status that you don't belong to, that you don't deserve. Yes, because many people, at least here in Mexico, and I think in general in the West, know, uh, might feel and feels and thinks that monks are realized people already. So maybe in Asia, people is more clear about that. A monk is only someone that's trying to train in a different way, because Buddhism is inside the culture of these people and these countries.
Sure.
But over here, people
and also the ordination process is quite different from the NKT ordination process. It's much
different.
Longer. It's much longer. It's much, it's
yes. NKT doesn't have a process.
There's no process, and there are no vows. The NKT has 10 vows, as far as
yes.
I know, while as the Vinaya, what the Buddha taught, the Vinaya is a very important part of the Dharma. There are 253 vows that the monks and nuns must observe. I think there are even more for the nuns. I don't remember now.
Yes, for nuns are more. For nuns are more.
But anyway, there are hundreds of vows that these monks have to observe, and so it's a very long process to become an ordained person in Asia. While as in the NKT, how long did it take you to get, or like the process? How long was it from the moment you decided to become?
Less than a year.
Less than a year.
Yes. Yes, yes. As I was saying, there is no process of ordination. No, it's just like a government tramit. No, you just go, ask, and stop for the resolution, which is always yes.
No? Yeah, wait for the next ordination date, yes. And that's it.
Yes, and something that's very funny is that you get ordained. And automatically by being a monk and being a resident teacher, then you are able to give empowerments. This is like it's absurd. It's stupid.
It's absurd. Yeah.
The only requirements you need for giving empowerments inside the NKT is that you are a resident teacher. No, you can be a layperson. No, but if you are a resident teacher, automatically you are like trained correctly for giving an empowerment, because everything is like a play, like we said before. No, but how can I give an empowerment? I don't know what. Don't worry. We will say you. And they gave you a text. No, like an actor, no? So just say this, and in this moment you shake the bell, and in this moment you concentrate in all the Buddhas in the world, in all the incountable enlightened beings, and think about your guru, and then you raise up the Vajra, and that's it, the Buddha will enter the Torma, and then you give empowerment to us.
That's
My God, it's like it's something.
So they give you a script basically before your first.
Yes, that's a word. I didn't know exactly what was the word. No, in Spanish is yes, like your letras, no, your I forgot the word. But the point is that yes, it's a script. It's a script.
Crazy.
That you follow. Like
and the people who take part in these empowerments, they have no idea. They take it so seriously, and nobody has an idea that the person who is giving the empowerment and the person who is receiving the empowerment are more or less on the same, more or less on the same level, right? Like nobody is actually more knowledgeable than the other, or if they're more knowledgeable, it's not very significant, not significantly more knowledgeable. Yeah,
no.
It's weird. But I guess they have this thing in the NKT that you impute the Buddha on the teacher, so it's like the Buddha is giving you this empowerment or something like that. That's how
Yes.
they justify this practice, is that it's all an imputation anyway, and it's all in the mind anyway. So it's up to you what you make of it, right?
Yes, of course. And I know that uh, there's many people inside the NKT that are really trying to practice properly and sincerely. I know that. I know that. And I hope this video and many videos that many people have posted on the web and on YouTube uh, are useful for them to understand that they are not in the right place. That if they really want to progress in the spiritual path and have realizations, spiritual realizations in the future, they have to move, and they have. It doesn't have to be with anger. No, just understand that it was good that NKT uh, show them a little bit about what Dharma is, and then they can move to other place. No, if they want to find a teacher, no,
Yeah.
because in other traditions they encourage you to talk to your teacher and get close to your teacher, ask him your doubts or any question or inquiry you want, you know. And in the NKT, I remember one of the senior teachers that was resident teacher in Mexico saying, yeah, one time Geshe-la said, if you have doubts, I don't solve personal doubts. Everything is in the books. Just like that. She told
the book
like
is
that.
The teacher. Yeah, the book is the teacher.
Yes, if you have some concern, well, you have the books there. Everything is in the books. Read the books.
Yeah.
So everything is wrong. Yes. Sometimes I would like that real and honest teachers, Buddhist teachers, monks or lay people in the world that are teaching Dharma in a proper way, that belong to a serious tradition, to a real tradition. No, I sometimes I would like, why don't they go to a class or a festival just for fun? Because I think they will be very funny for them. Yeah, just to listen what they are saying. No, sitting on a throne in front of a big audience, confusing people about what Buddhism really is.
Right. Yeah. Of course, I think another side of the coin here is that a lot of people, in my experience, a lot of people in the NKT are in the NKT not so much for the Dharma, but for the community. They like these get-togethers. They like these retreats. They like, get there. They like maybe the singing, and the cookies and the tea afterwards and the dinners. And so they are really, they might say, well, I don't really care that this is not exactly what the Buddha taught, but I feel happy here, I'm good here because I have a community here. I mean, what would you say to those people, right?
No, if you have a psychological disorder like narcissism, NKT is perfect for you, because very quickly you are a teacher. Very quickly you are a monk. Very quickly you are a resident teacher. Very quickly you are leading a retreat. No, you become important.
Just a fortunate Kdampa. Even if you are nobody, you're just a member. I remember I was a nobody when I was involved with them. I didn't have any roles, but I found like this fortunate Kdampa. I found this pure path finally, so I very quickly started feeling really good about myself, and just telling people how it is, and yeah, it certainly builds your ego in a
A
very,
lot.
very big way.
Yes, and you can see a lot of narcissism in resident teachers and senior teachers. It's a lot. Not everyone, no. Yes, but most of them. Most of them. No, a lot of narcissism, a lot of protagonism. No, it's like, yes, we are the teachers. We are the people that leads the things, leads the. We are the people that lead the movement, and we're going to teach you how to behave and what's
we have
the right thing
wisdom
for you to do. Yes, yes. It's
So
like,
Renato, what was that point? When was that point when you felt like you wanted to leave, and why? Like, how did that happen? Like, you got ordained, you started giving empowerments, teaching, but at some point you decide to quit, right?
I never gave empowerments because I
Oh,
never was a
never.
resident
Oh,
teacher.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There were many details that I started to notice that I thought that they were not correct or proper. I think the first big hit for me, the first big disappointment is that I wanted to establish a center, an NKT center here in Toluca. I rented a commercial space. No, I paid from
With
my
your
money,
own money? With your own money?
with my own money, and they didn't. They wanted me to pay the rent, but they didn't let me take, or they didn't let me make any decision. They wanted to control everything. After I rented the commercial space, they came to see it, to watch the place 3 months later. I paid for the rent 3 months and couldn't do nothing to the commercial
because
space.
They wouldn't show up to check it
Yes,
out.
until they came to see and say, okay, yes, it's good. The street is a good one. And okay, let's see it. So I remember once I talked to the admin of the center, the administrator of the center. In that moment, she was a woman. And I told her, well, what are we going to do? The time is running and we don't have any advance in this, no? And she told me, it has to be until the resident teacher comes back from the festival, because she left and she is the one who has to make the decisions. Wow. And in that moment, I decided to talk with the person who rented me the place, and I told him they were two siblings, and I talked to the man, to the brother, and I told him I can't go on with this, so please resign me the contract, and I have to pay a fine. Yes, so I spent a lot of money for nothing. So that was the first big problem, or the first big disappointment. No?
So you were not allowed to just start organizing your groups and start teaching, because I'm just saying this to our listeners, that everything is copyrighted in the new Kdampa Tradition. So you can't just go and start teaching their books or whatever you have learned in the organization. You cannot share that with other people without their without their authorization, right?
Yes.
And yet they would just make you wait and wait and wait and pay the rent on this place, and not acknowledge the fact that you you are actually financing this project by yourself. And just helping you along by showing up and checking the place out and giving you the okay to go ahead.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
Yes, I hope I'm making myself clear, because my English is not very good.
Your English is fantastic. You're very clear. You're very clear.
Thank you.
But I repeated it back because I am so I almost said an expletive here, but I am so surprised here, that this happened. Like, this is just so crazy, I
Yes.
can't believe that they are so. I mean, this boils down to compassion, doesn't it? Like, they're always talking about compassion, compassion, compassion. I'm asking, where is the compassion here? Where is the compassion?
Gabby, in everything, where's the compassion in everything? And that's another message I would like to send to people that will watch this video and is inside the NKT. If you really have compassion, you must understand what we, the former NKT members, are feeling. No,
Absolutely.
if you don't commiserate and about what we experience inside the place that you are in, so your compassion is completely fake and absurd. No, you have to listen to us. You have to listen to us.
Exactly. Absolutely. This is such an important message.
Gabby, I need to go right now because I have a personal issue with my father. Could we make a second part?
Sure, absolutely. We'll make a second part, Renato. So to be continued. I am going to post this on YouTube. Yes.
And in the second part, I will account you the second thing that light all the alarms in my mind about the NKT.
Fantastic. Okay? Good, Renato. Well, I really want to thank you so much. You have given a lot of information here, and we will be back then with part 2. Soon. Thank you so much, very much.
I am very happy about this. Very happy because I really wanted a place where I can express everything that I have inside. It's like crazy what these people is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Okay, Renato. Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you soon, and we are in contact. We are in touch.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.